Hello and welcome to this very first YouTube video of For the Painter's Good. My name's Sean and I'm your host, and I'll be taking you through how this beginner-friendly tutorial on how to paint the Death Corps of Krieg. We have these fantastic new sculpts within the Death Corps of Krieg box, as well as the addition of the new Kill Team box as well, which came out some time ago. These are absolutely amazing sculpts. I just love them. Look at this guy with a bayonet. I mean, he is charging into the jaws of death every time. These soldiers are unrelenting. Oh, the zapper. Oh my goodness, the zapper is very cool. Just imagine him blowing the charge. That's the end of the squad. Good day, good night. Grenade launcher is one of my personal favorites as well. Not a very meta choice for the game, but I do really enjoy the aesthetic look of him reloading that grenade launcher. And this is the model that we will be painting today. The model itself is primed using Governor Green from Colourforge. This is a direct colour match to Castellan Green from Games Workshop. And we're going to start off with probably our biggest colour across the whole model, which is Black Legion Contrast from Games Workshop, from Citadel. We're going to apply this over the trousers of the model, the boots, the shoulder pad, the helmets, and the stock and I suppose middle workings of the rifle. Anything basically within the rifle that we don't actually want to be that metallic colour basically. And the idea behind this is just that we're getting our layer of black down there nice and early and that kind of stuff. This will be the majority of the work, so do take your time, try and be neat with it and that kind of stuff. Don't worry if you do nick parts of the green. We can always go back and touch that up with a little pot of Castellan Green, or any other direct colour match will also work absolutely fine on this. There's no hassle whatsoever. So here we go, just applying it to the stock of the rifle here, in that case, the stock of the las gun. I was just reading Dead Men Walking, and the description of the Death Corps of Krieg is just awesome. The way every single one of them is atoning for the sins of their ancestors when the world of Krieg actually turned against the Imperium. The rulers of that world declared independence, and actually the people revolted basically, and they were like, no, we don't want to. So as a result then they rebelled against the rebels, I guess is the way to do it. But it was excellent. Anyway, sorry, I digress. So this was a fantastic book, Dead Men Walking, really good. It really painted the Krieg in that kind of like that light that they really don't care about how many lives it takes to actually complete their mission. They just go for it. So you can see I'm applying it to not only the gun, the boots, but also the strapping that's all over the model as well. That kind of pouch that's across the chest and that kind of thing. Not to mention as well the leather kind of belts that they've got, as well as the actual straps that come down from their backpack as well. I also did that in Black Legion. Again, the idea just to break up some of that green. There's a lot of green all over the model and that kind of thing. These greatcoats are fantastic. They look really good, but we do want to break up those kind of blocks of color basically with something else in between basically. Now, when you're doing the helmet, just be quite careful. It's not a big deal if you do nick the mask or anything like that, but do try and be careful not to nick the mask and that kind of stuff if you can. If you do, it's absolutely no harm at all. We'll just go back because we're going to layer that up with a base paint then as well afterwards. So it's absolutely no harm, but it's just the colour we're going to layer up. The face mask will go much better over the green rather than the black. So the next colour we're going to go to is Wildwood. This is just a really quick coat, and the idea behind this is just that we're going to apply this all over the actual backpack. Now, this is actually the only part of brown that we're actually going to apply all over it. Again, just trying to break up the textures and that kind of thing, but we're trying to go for those kind of earthy colours that go together. Think, it's a silly comparison, but think fashion as well and that kind of thing. When you're getting dressed for the day, you sometimes prepare clothes in the same manner, basically. So you would use the likes of earthy tones together, natural tones that would all go together. So like blues and greens and browns and that kind of thing. So we're trying to do the same thing here. Now we're just going to apply a coat of Xandri dust. This is going to go all over the wrappings on the leg. Don't worry, it looks a little bit bright at the moment, but we will shade that down. So don't worry about that. It's also going to go across the bedroll on the backpack, as you can see here. I'm just being careful not to nick that brown. Again, it's not too much hassle if we do nick the brown. We can go back and just get it again with a contrast coat, but just be mindful that when you top up that area of the contrast coat, you might need to top it up all over just to keep the coat consistent as well. But anyway, as I said, just try and be careful with this coat as Andrew Dust, particularly over the bedroll and that kind of thing. It'll be much easier if you nick like a boot, for example. We can go back over that with black than it is with the brown, because this Andrew Dust will obviously be much, it'll be a lighter color than the brown. So on that then, what we're doing is, the other thing that we're going to do with the Andrew Dust is we're going to actually go and do the face mask as well. And I know a lot of people do the white face mask and that kind of stuff. But again, going back to what I was saying, like, again, a silly comparison, but when like people wear clothes, we're trying to get those natural tones in, and white can be quite a stark, sterile color sometimes when we've got all these natural tones in here. So here you can see me, I'm just trying to layer up that. Again, try and be quite careful. It's not the end of the world if you do actually nick any of the black. We can go back and top it up, but here you can see there's Andrew Dust applied. Now I did give this 2 coats, by the way, just to get that finish on it there, but that was absolutely fine. We're on to lead belcher now next. So for the lead belcher, this will be relatively straightforward. This is just for any metallics that we want to include. Now you can mix and match this a little bit if you want. I did contemplate doing a bronze color for quite a long time for some of the gear, again, because we're trying to get those browns in there and that kind of stuff. And also I was thinking ahead to the shade stage, what would look nice with a good shade on it. But I did pick lead belcher in the end because I did want that kind of worn metal look, basically. So again, I'm just applying this to the barrel of the gun, the bayonet, of course, that's stuck on the end. Bayonets ready, lads. And of course the magazine as well of the gun. As well as this, I'll also be applying it to the gas mask, just the metallic parts, the small metallic parts just in front of the gas mask, as well as the hose that's going to come down into the rest of the workings, I guess. The part that connects to his rebreather is the way I would describe it. So here you can see I'm just going in there with that. Do try and be careful. Again, if you nick it, not the end of the world. Just go back and just reapply. If you put it on the green, just reapply Castellan green. If you hit the Andrew Dust face mask, don't worry about it. You can see, I know the footage is really quite fuzzy here, I do apologize, but in this I'm trying to just get the Imperial symbol on the helmet as well, and on the backpack as well. So again, don't worry, we can tidy everything up here. The idea of this scheme is that you can get like 20 of these guys done, you know, across a couple of evenings, and it'll be absolutely fine. So Corax White next. This is quite a tricky bit, and I apologize, my camera seemed to enjoy my finger behind the model rather than front of the model. But what I'm doing here is I'm putting a drop of Corax White just into the eyes. Now, I took this directly from the pot. You can water it down a little bit if you want it to play about with. I haven't had great history with Corax White. However, that seemed to be a particularly good pot that I got this time around that I was able to do that. So any white will do. And even if you felt like it, you could do a bright metallic color, so don't worry about that. And this is why we do this, is because we're now applying the contrast Blood Angels red to this scheme, and that's going to give us that lovely glowing red eye look, which is going to look fantastic then when you've got about 10 of these on the battlefield, or even squads of 20, because you do of course want a lot of these infantry. It takes a lot of these to make up a whole army, basically. So that's part of the reason why I'm doing this scheme, is because it's actually, you could get it ready quite quickly as well. Now for the shade part, this is the stage where you'll start to see it really come together now. So we're going to put Agrax Earth Shade all over the model. Yeah, you heard me right, all over it. Don't be afraid to get right in there with that bad boy as well, but really try and avoid any pooling and that kind of thing. We really want this to be a really smooth coat. We want to get it in the recesses and that kind of thing, but we really want to avoid that pooling stage, because we actually don't really want to go back and layer this up. When you're running 40 of these in an army, you really want to be sure that you don't need to like spend ages working on the shades and that kind of thing. But Agrax Earthshade is a great coat here. Agrax Earthshade is the shade of choice here. Again, just getting this right in. We really don't want to get anything over the actual, like, the flat panels. We don't want any of those smudges or heavy pooling and that kind of stuff. So just try and manipulate the shade around. You can see there, I've not been terribly careful with it, but at the same time, Agrax Earthshade just works so well, you don't particularly need to be. So this is it immediately after the shade. And this is what it looks like after. So there, we've got that lovely beaten, dirty look into the stuff. You can see the Xandri dust is turned up beautifully there around the wraps and the face mask as well. Now this is a bit of a left field decision. You don't have to do this. I felt like it added to it. So I used Null and Oil next, because actually if you looked at the black between the pants, the boots and the helmets, they look the same. That's not what I want to look like. These are different textures. This is like cloth or leather versus like flak or Kevlar or whatever the equivalent is basically. I want them to look different. So here you go, quick coat of Null and Oil over it. Gets a lovely shine off, and now the textures look different. Now this looks like an actual texture. So that's the thinking behind that. Again, you don't have to do that if you don't want to, but it's just the choice that I made. After that then as well, we've also got then the likes of the basin. So base to taste as you want. You can see I used the AK Interactive dioramas. Quick dry brush of Tyrant Skull over the top. Any cream will do though, if you have any cream. Just, again, dry brush it neatly. And then apply the tuft of grass over it then as well, basically. Again, purely flavorful choice, but don't worry about it at all then. So once you've got that done, that's our Death Corps of Krieg model complete then, basically. And as you can see from the start of the video here, I've actually got 5 more that I've done now in a relatively short space of time. I would say I did them in an evening, basically. So don't be afraid to give this scheme a go. If you like what you see, please do leave a like and a subscribe on and comment below if you think I've done anything wrong. This is my first video, so please don't be afraid to leave any feedback at all. Anything is welcome at all here. If you think this scheme is rubbish, just let me know what you'd like to see different instead. Would you like to see an edge highlight? I personally find the edge highlights take up a lot of time. They are worth it in some cases. I don't find that in a model where I'm going to have to run about 40 infantry at least, though, that it's worth the time to put that into an edge highlight. Please let me know though, but otherwise, have a great day. Thanks. Goodbye.